Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. And again, I forgot to put on my Do Not Disturb. That's why I was messing with the phone. Okay. Before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. So, let's do some housekeeping right quick. Few things to get out of the way. First of all, I am looking so forward to tomorrow because I can finally shave again. Usually, I cut my hair and shave on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But I kid you not, and I'm blaming this on Mercury retrograde. The last 2 Wednesdays, something has come up, and it's like, oh wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait till Saturday. So that's where we're at, because I could have done it on Thursday or today, but it would throw off the schedule. You know what I mean? With the Wednesday and Saturday. So I'm just like, gotta wait till Saturday. So here we are on that. So looking forward to that. Also, I will be doing the tarot readings, the general tarot readings this weekend. That is the goal, knock on wood, because we're still in Mercury retrograde, so you never know. But as far as I know, I'm doing those this weekend. I will start uploading those probably Saturday night is when I will start uploading the general readings. I am doing a different type of reading for the general this time. I've created a custom tarot deck, and I will use that tarot deck and then use a regular tarot deck to clarify, and then I will use an oracle deck for the closing, like one card from the oracle deck for the closing message, and doing that. But this particular deck, I'm going to have a lot of fun using it because I've never done this particular type of reading before. So I look forward to that. So yeah, that's why I'm doing a daily thought today, because I didn't want to do a quick 3 tarot when I'm about to upload 13, because this is going to be for the October readings, which is Libra season, which also, if you're a Libra, you will get extra readings because you know what I'm saying. October is Libra season. You'll get extra readings for that because it's your birthday season. So you'll get an extra general. You will receive an extra love when I start the love readings, and you will receive an extra money reading when I start the money readings. So yeah. Let's get into this daily thought because I got things to do. So back a long time ago, long enough. It was like, how long ago was that? This is 2022. So probably almost 25 years ago, I had a conversation with one of the managers at the company I worked at. We were talking, and she was really, really cool. And, you know, she had that hood side to her, you know, but also she was very business. And that was one thing she talked about too. She's like, you need to know when to put on your face, is one thing she said to me. Because it's like when I was sitting talking to her in her car, you know, it's a different type of presentation. When she deals with people at the job, or when she dealt with people at the job, it was another type of presentation. Like the two people are different people, but still the same person, still real and genuine. It's just, it's delivered in a different way, depending on what setting it's in. But we were talking about someone that had received a promotion. And I was like, well, why did she get the promotion? Or whatever. Because I didn't see it. You know, and I was a person who always was direct with the people, and still am, the people I deal with. Sometimes I'll put, you know, like a buffer on it so it doesn't sting as much. But still, you get what it is. So then she replied back to me. She said back to me, you don't know her resume. And then I had paused for a second. And I was like, okay, that is a point. You know, and then I'll just say her name, Keisha. Keisha then basically explained to me, like, some of her background, and then also that definitely, you know, she was qualified. And that really stuck with me throughout the years, where you don't know, and I've mentioned this before in my daily thoughts and in my tarot readings and so on and so forth. You don't know what someone has been through. You don't know their resume. It's almost like one of my favorite movies will always be Slumdog Millionaire. I was so shocked. I went so long without watching that movie. Because, and the thing is, I own the movie too. Because sometimes I'll buy movies, but I don't watch them right away because I have to be in a certain energy for certain movies. There was something that I watched finally. It was like 3 movies that I finally watched that I owned for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But I hadn't watched them. And another movie I still haven't watched, the final Batman movie, not the one that just came out with Robert Pattinson, the one when Christian Bale was Batman, I think it's The Dark Knight Rises, the third one with Catwoman. That one I haven't seen yet, and I own it. I've owned it for years. But yeah, I have to be in a certain energy. But back to Slumdog Millionaire. That movie is so amazing, even though it took me 10 years to finally watch it. Because when he was answering those questions, the people who were dealing with, who were watching this, because that was the thing, that was why the police were questioning him and everyone else, because they're like, you know, all of these answers where the scientists don't know, people with doctorates don't know, this person doesn't know, that person doesn't know. You're from the slums. How can you possibly know the answers to all of these questions that we are asking as they're doing the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game? And the way they broke it down when they would do the flashbacks showing the experiences that he had, that if he had not had those experiences, he wouldn't have the answer to the question. That's part of his resume. And that can be life's resume, but also on the job. Because I've dealt with this on my job, where some people, it throws them off that I know how to do things the way that I do them. And I'm not looking to make this about me. However, it is my podcast. I can make it about me. But also I want to make a point where the people that I'm dealing with, some of them have seen my resume, but even within my resume, they don't know every single thing that I've dealt with. Where the resume is just a quick, overview. That's the cliff notes of my professional life. But when it comes to dealing with things, I'll give you an example. In real estate, there is this thing with electronic filing called Simplifile, where you don't have to send in the deed to be recorded. To do that, you can do it electronically, or either any other documents, whether you're doing an assignment, a deed, or what have you. Anything that has to be sent to the county recorder. For most parts, if they're part of the Simplifile system, you can do it electronically. The way I discovered that, because that was at my previous job when I worked in real estate, I was the one who introduced them to that. It literally saved them over $1 million and is still saving them money to this day because of me, period. And that's not a cap, it's not a brag, it's just a fact. So, but the way I discovered Simplifile was at my other real estate job. One thing that I was noticing is that it was taking stuff forever to record because we were sending the stuff off by USPS or by FedEx to the recorders, and then we had to wait and wait and wait. And we had a situation where we really needed a deed to be recorded because we usually do quick claim deeds. And it had to be recorded like pronto. And I was talking to the rep there, and he could feel my frustration when I was talking to him. And the crazy thing is, it was in my home state of South Carolina where this was happening. Mind you, I lived in Los Angeles, but we had properties all over the US that I had to help, deal with. So I was just like, and he's like, have you ever heard of Simplifile? I'm like, no. And he's like, you can e-record the deeds if you have Simplifile. And it happens the same day, usually. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So then I contact Simplifile and I started talking to the rep there. His name happened to be my legal name too. And we started talking. I took it to, the higher ups at the company I worked at. Some of them were kind of skeptical at first because they had never dealt with it. But I was like, well, let's just give it a chance. You pay a smaller fee. We don't have to pay for postage to send off the deeds and do this and do that. And if they're on file or if they're within the Simplifile system, we can just file it electronically and be done with it. And it's recorded. So we started a test run. It started working out good. And then after it started working out good, everyone would come to me because I was the administrative lead. Everyone would come to me and be like, is this county in the system for Simplifile? And I would look it up and like, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. And if it was, they were like, file this, file this, file this. So that experience that I took from that situation, I took it over to my other real estate job. And that was the one where they saved, over $1 million. I'm telling you that to say this. If you are just meeting me, you wouldn't know the details of that in my resume. But because of my experience of what I did, I was able to take it to another job. And they were able to use that. And it is the same thing when you go to another job. All of those experiences that you've had, my experience working in working in investment relations or investor relations at my previous job. And then before that being the administrative lead, dealing with stuff from code enforcement to whatever over almost 20 states in the US. I had to deal with it. That was an experience. Along with me working in customer service at T-Mobile, which T-Mobile, that was a learning experience within itself because people don't know this. One of the reasons that T-Mobile's customer service is so amazing is because they put you through all of these things. We had like meetings that we had to have where we had to learn things, do these exercises in groups and all this other stuff off the phone. Like T-Mobile is very customer service focused. But those things that I learned at T-Mobile, I took to other jobs. The things I learned in real estate, I took to other jobs. I have that experience because it's part of my resume. So when people don't know your resume, they can be thrown off sometimes because they're like, well, how does this person know that? How do they instinctively or intuitively know what to do? Why do they know that? It's because it's part of my resume. It's part of my experience. It's part of my history. So when you're looking at someone else and you're like, well, why do they get to do it? Or how did they know how to do that? Or why did they get the promotion? Why are they receiving all the attention? And all this other stuff when really that person is more than likely just doing their job. You have to remember, you don't know their resume. You don't know it. And this isn't just on the job. This is life in general. I don't know what anyone has been through. I don't know their full resume. Yeah, we all know little pieces of things here and there, but no one will ever know someone's full background. Just like in one of my daily thoughts, you never really know someone. I think that was the title of it, because you'll never know everything about a single person. You just won't. It's not possible. At the same time, you can't be in this energy of, oh, well, why them? Oh, well, what makes them so special? You don't know their resume. The best thing you can do is run your race and focus on you, is what you can do. Instead of focusing on why this person is able to do what they do. Because again, they may have been through a lot of stuff that built up their experience, that gave them the tools that they needed to be able to navigate whatever situation is presented to them. But you may not know all of that because you don't know their resume. And that is my daily thought. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.